Welcome back to Sports with the Bone. Today we want to look at outstanding St. Elizabeth Technical High School and Jamaican sprinter Sachin Dennis. Now, it has been brought to our attention that discussions are being facilitated in order to get Sachin Dennis to represent oil-rich country Bahrain. Now, it is said that the decision has not yet been taken, but however, the coach and Sachin's father and Sachin, they are all facilitating discussions as relates to getting him to represent this country. Now, there are different angles to every story, so we want to explore the different angles. We don't just want to look at it from a point of view that we are passionate Jamaicans and we wouldn't want to see this happen. But at the same time, there is a person's right to choose. Now, we understand that us Jamaicans, we are very passionate and we want to see our athletes represent our country. But at the same time, we have to remember that each person, owns the right to choose what they want. So we have to be careful when we go around judging people. Sometimes what the people think is best for Jamaica is not always what is best for an individual. And in this instance, Sachin, we might think that it is best for him to represent Jamaica so that we can vast in his glory and we can say, yeah, we can identify with him and say, yeah, he's a Jamaican, he might become a world champion. Who to tell him, might even become the next record holder. But at the same time, what is best for Jamaica is not always best for the individual in question. Now, we all would want to see young Sachin represent Jamaica. Yes. One should, however, remember that this will be his way of providing for his family. Now, we all know how cruel sports can be. You can be the most talented and you can have the brightest of future, but one little injury or one little mishap can cause you to lose it all. And, most persons that are not in the field of sports, they will just sit down and they will just say, hey, he's just doing it for the money. He's just doing it for the money. You don't want to do it for the country. But what we need to remember is that these persons that are professional athletes, they are not just only running to win medals. This is their way of providing for themselves and providing for for their families and making sure that their future is well set. Just like how you would have a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse. These are professional athletes. So this is what they do for a living. No, I don't want people to get it twisted, thinking that I am saying that he should just run off to Bahrain because of what he can get as it relates to money. I'm not just saying that, but I am of the view that persons should not just rush to conclusion. We should look at things from the different angles, and we should know that a person owns the right to select what is best for his or her future. Oftentimes we have heard of stories of former Jamaican sports stars, who have retired, and after retiring, sometimes they even end up homeless. I, for one, I have heard of stories where Jamaican cricketers have ended up homeless, persons who would have gone on to represent West Indies, persons who would have represented Jamaica in football. Sometimes they are even on the streets begging. That is how cruel the sports can be to you, because you can only be at your peak or at your best till the age of maybe 29, 30. After that, then it's basically over as it relates to competing at the highest level. So when we hear stories like this, we have to look at it from all the different angles, and it might sound that way, but Jamaica does not always cater for their athletes. We have heard them saying that they want to put in insurance plan for different athletes, so in case something happen while they are playing cricket, football, or whatever the case may be, they want to put in different insurance. But we have seen where persons have retired and have ended up being homeless. You understand? So there are different angles to every story. And young Sachin here, as much as I would want to see this young man represent Jamaica, it is also his right to choose what he think is best for him. You know. So this therefore should be his decision alongside his coach and his father. You know, because it is, as I said earlier, not all the time what is best for the country is best for the individual. Now, the troubling part about this story, however, is that Sachin's mother was really not aware of what was taking place. You know, based on what we actually saw in the different interviews that she would have done, it was obvious that the father and the coach was trying to get Sachin to represent Bahrain without the mother's approval. Now, as soon as we hear this, we can see that this is not a nuclear family. So the mother and the father, you know, is no longer living together. They are separated based on what we would have garnered from the interview. No, this is the only part of the whole thing that, you know, is basically a hot mess, because the mother and the father, as it relates to their son, one would think that they would sit and discuss what would be best for the child, along with involving the child in the decision. But we see where the mother is pulling to one side and the father is pulling to another side, you know. But at the end of the day, as Jamaicans, we all want to identify with somebody that is outstanding, whether or not he is representing Jamaica, because I am sure that persons who would have switched allegiance in time before, whenever they are running or whenever they are playing football or whatever it is that they do, then Jamaicans would identify with them and say, you know that guy or that girl is a Jamaican born athlete, but he's just representing another country, you know. And Sachin here, this Sachin Dennis here, this is no joke, because this is probably this guy might probably be the future of track and field, you know, because when Sachin last run at the boys and girl champs, he had a time of 10.02. At this stage, he was only 15 years old. 10.02. We have a lot of persons running at world champs, at Olympics, talking about big men in their 20s representing their country, who are hardly able to run sub 10, and this guy was actually running 10.02 at the age of 15. You know, at this time he was in class 2. When he ran the 10.02, he was actually in class 2. So he was basically 15 going on to 16. You know, this time was the fastest time in the world by a 15-year-old. So basically what this is saying is that Sachin was basically the fastest 15-year-old in the world when he ran this 10.02 in, I think it was in 2018. It was in 2018 that he did this time. You know, now this will be somewhat of a bittersweet moment for Jamaicans, you know, because at the end of the day, we all want to see Sachin go on and be successful, whether he's representing Jamaica or not. But based on what we are seeing here, it is highly likely that Sachin will be representing Bahrain in the future. I'm not saying it's a done deal, but you know, so far he has not represented Jamaica, whether at the youth or at the senior level. And in order for J3A, that is the group that is in charge of the whole Jamaica track and field thing, in order for them to have a say in the matter, he would have to have already represented Jamaica at the youth level. Now we are seeing where Sachin only represented his high school. He has not so far represented Jamaica. So this is not something that the governing body would have a say in. You know, as I said before, this would technically be a bittersweet moment for Jamaica if it should turn out that Sachin goes on to represent Bahrain. You know, because at the same time, even though it's a bitter moment where he's not representing Jamaica, it will bring some amount of sweetness, seeing that this guy was actually born and raised in Jamaica. You know, but being a true patriot and a true sports person here, I am hoping that it will work out that Sachin end up representing Jamaica. But as I said before, there are different angles to every story, and at the end of the day, the person in question, that person should be allowed to choose for his or her future, you know. So here we want to wish Sachin Dennis all the best in the future, you know. That is just basically how it is. Hopefully on the biggest stage, as it relates to Olympic and World Championship, we will see young Sachin representing Jamaica. You know, but that is all we can do. We just can wish and hope. But at the same time, a person owns the right to choose for his or her own future. You know, it is not always about just allowing Jamaicans to feel good. At the same time, when you are doing something professionally, you have to look at it from a point of view where you take the decision that is best for yourself and your family. Now, it is not that this will allow him to run any slower if he is not representing Jamaica, because more than likely his coach or the person who is coaching him now would have identified a suitable coach to work with him, or be it the fact that that coach would then transition into coaching him outside of the high school level, you know. So it is not the case where him leaving Jamaica might be detrimental to him. It might end up being doing more good than bad, because there and then he would be representing a country that he won't basically have to fight to represent, you know, because you know sometimes Jamaica's 100 and 200 meter events, those are usually very hard to qualify for, as it relates to the different athletes who are competing. So a 10.01 might not be good enough for you to represent Jamaica, you know, but a 10.01 or a 10.02 might be the best or the fastest person in a country like Bahrain. So not only would he be running at the biggest stage, but he would also be well compensated. So, you know, we are just hoping for the best for this young athlete here. So as the story builds, we just want to sit back and really take in what will come of it. So until next time, good.